Calls for the resignation of Simon Harris, Tanaiste of Ireland are growing louder and more frequent, really crystallised by the death of this young lad, Harvey Morrison Sherratt, who died sadly last month following a long, painful struggle with scoliosis, many broken promises, many unanswered questions from Harris and also the Health Service of Ireland. And I'll give you the details on the story. I'll also show you a very, very moving clip that his father recorded before the boy died, when he was simply asking for answers and help, as he watched his son languish in pain for years before he finally died last month, after years of lies and broken promises, really emanating primarily from Simon Harris. So headlines this morning, some of the headlines this morning, Pater Tobin from Aon2 calls for Harris to resign over the handling of this boy's scoliosis case. 9-year-old Harvey from Clondalkin in Dublin died on the 29th of July. He also had spina bifida and scoliosis. He had been subject to delays. This is it. Delays following, some call broken promises, I call lies. Lies. He had been subject to delays in accessing urgent scoliosis surgery. Harvey's mother said last week that they did not even currently have a cause of death. Another headline today, Simon Harris is urged to meet the parents of Harvey Morrison Sherratt. That will be some meeting. He hasn't got it in him. He hasn't got the decency, or maybe he will have the gall. I shudder to think if he met those parents, given his propensity for sneering and looking down upon people that would criticize him or ask him to explain himself. I shudder to think what that meeting would go like. That could be the end of him, actually. Sinn Fein leader Ms McDonald has called on Tanaiste Harris to meet with the parents of the boy who died last month. So she's called for that as well. She's also putting up a social media post. They're really trying to get a campaign launched here, not McDonald, but many, many people wanting to see the back of Simon Harris, justice for Harvey. I've written to the Tanaiste following the heartbreaking death of 9-year-old Harvey Morrison Sherratt. Previously, the child's life-threatening scoliosis deteriorated. Harris assured me that he would meet with the parents to discuss the son's urgent situation, and it never took place. He can find the time to fly all around the world, acting as a wannabe peace envoy, acting as a champion in the Middle East, banging his own drum, meeting leaders of certain communities this week to assure them that they were safe and protected, and he wouldn't even have the decency to meet this child's parents before the child died and now after the child died. The state completely failed this bravest, strongest boy, first by the intolerable delays, then by Harris' failure to follow through on his commitment to meet the family. He's a liar. He's a wicked man. If this doesn't prove to you beyond any reasonable doubt that Simon Harris is a wicked and an evil man, I do not know what will. I do not know what will. He must urgently meet with the parents and explain why he broke his important promise, why he lied to them. Now I want to show you a clip. This is Harvey's father speaking, and you can see the man he's just a broken man, as you would be, watching your son in pain year after year after year after year, listening to lies and broken promises from the government. And then this was before the child sadly died last month. So imagine how much more emotional this man is now. Let's hear what he says.
we were verbally told that Harvey would have that surgery in August, and in 2023, March 2023, we finally got a date for that surgery, for April 2023, and then it was cancelled abruptly, and we've had no information from the hospital on why.
And I think we can see a photo of Harvey there, and we can see, obviously.
If that was Harris' child, do you think you'd been waiting for years for that surgery? Do you think you'd have had the surgery abruptly cancelled? Do you think you'd be snubbed if that was Harris' child? Harris should treat every child in Ireland like he would treat his own. But he doesn't, because he doesn't care.
The delay is having a physical impact on Harvey. Tell me what his situation is like now.
I have to watch my son go through horrific pain every single day of his life. Every single day. And we get nothing back from the HSE. We get nothing back from CHI. We get nothing back from Temple Street.
His issue is, as we say, scoliosis, a curvature of his spine, and that is getting worse with every passing week.
Yeah. So Harvey, for years, has been in and out of Temple Street with pneumonia because his ribs are crushed in his lungs currently, and
I know. Just today's news then, on top of you're living this every single day with Harvey and you're waiting and waiting for word of surgery. When you heard what happened, what came out today?
Shocked. Absolutely shocked. And I want to know how it happened, how this was able to happen, and when it's going to be sorted. Because that child has waited for 7 years to be fixed and nothing has been done. There's been no intervention for my son.
This is obviously the hospital that you're depending on.
I have no trust in the hospital anymore. I don't want my son to be treated in Temple Street anymore.
But presumably you won't be given that choice.
Probably not. And me and my partner have talked about leaving the country.
I just say, we wish you the very, very best. I think any of us can see pictures of Harvey and just your heart would absolutely go out to you. So the very, very best to you.
Thank
and
you.
The very, 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 very best to Harvey. And thank you so much for coming in and talking to us tonight.
The very best to you and the very best to Harvey. He's dead. He's dead. And Harris remains in situ. Harris remains in situ. Well, this man now has to deal with the death of his son, and so does the child's mother, while Harris remains in situ. So, like I said, rightly so, pressure is mounting to get rid of this wretched man, Simon Harris. So this is another piece that was ran today. The state has completely failed a boy who died after waiting for the surgery. It's a picture of the family, no longer the child now. So parents Gillian, Sherratt and Stephen Morrison learned last August that he had been removed from the scoliosis waiting list without their information. Why would you remove a child after waiting for 7 odd years or 8 years? No explanation, nothing. They publicly raised their son's case. He did receive spinal surgery last December, so that was December just passed. After it being taken off the list and waiting for years, then pressure mounted. They released videos, as you could see, some of the photographs, did interviews, and pressure was mounted that he did actually receive surgery. But by that stage, the curvature was so bad, it just simply relieved some of the horrific symptoms, but it had went past the point of no return. Harris made a pledge in 2017 as health minister. No child would wait for more than 4 months. This child waited 7+ years, and there's many more. There's many, many more. Harris can find the time and money for many, many things. Can find the time to visit many places. To champion many causes. But not this one. The parents have also called for Harris' resignation. Mary Lou McDonald said she raised the case with Harris last September. He assured her that he would meet the parents. He didn't. The meeting never took place. Parents fought tirelessly to have him returned to the active waiting list. He did have that surgery in December. His improvement was remarkable. His breathing improved. He began eating solid food for the first time in 6 years. However, by the time the operations took place, the curvature was so severe that the outcome was limited compared to what could have been achieved had a timely intervention been provided, as per Harris' own stated 4-month target. They demand and deserve an explanation. The least they're owed is an honest account. Good luck getting it from that rat, Harris. How can Harris, I asked this question a couple of days ago, how can he look in the mirror at night? How can he? Man that is completely devoid of soul, compassion, and humility. How can he look at himself in the mirror at night? How can he get dressed in the morning and look at himself as he puts on his shirt and tie to go back to wreak more havoc on the Irish people? That's when he is working, of course. It's on an extended break now, touring around farms and country villages, getting photographs taken with other children, living ones. So the calls are growing for him to go, rightly so. Anyone that watches this channel knows that I have no love for that man whatsoever. A wretch of a man. Wicked and an evil man. And if this, well, who else knows what's going on? But this, and for what it's worth, I know I'm not alone. There's a campaign being launched now to get rid of him. Will he go, or will he jump, or will he have to be pushed? Time will tell. But share this content. Let people know what type of a man that's in this position of Tanaiste. And let me know what your comments are below. Leave me your thoughts and opinions. For now, I'm Rick Munn. This is No Risk, No Reward Media. Over and out.